Hello and thanks for watching this Cloud9 ERP Solutions video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to talk about two-factor authentication. So for those of you that don't know, two-factor authentication is when you sign into Acumatica, you log in. Two-factor authentication requires a second form, not just the password to log in, but some other form to verify that it is you. Now, there's multiple different ways to do that. We go over to our security preferences. We take a look. There's a few different ways to do this. The first one is to send a text message to your phone. And sending a text message over to your phone, that'll work. You'll get a code as you're logging in. And then you'll put in that code in addition to your password, and then you'll be able to get into the software. The second way is to authenticate through the Acumatica mobile app, which we support also. And then the third way is to receive an email. You receive an email, you get the code, and you put that in. Again, all of this is in a subsequent screen. Your normal Acumatica login screen is here. You click sign in, and we're going to show this in the upcoming demo. But after you click sign in, you're then presented with the option to authenticate from another device. So if we log in, this is how you set it up. We go to Security Preferences. You can see the options right here. Now, one other note on this. What we're doing here is Acumatica's two-factor authentication. If you're using something like single sign-on, you're using Microsoft's Office 365, and you're using that to sign on, the two-factor authentication or the multi-factor authentication, that's all handled by the Microsoft platform. If you're using Google's single sign-on, again, all handled by the Google platform. But in this, the two-factor authentication relies on us using the native users in the system. So if we go to users, all the users we have configured here, that's the users and passwords that we're using in order to get into Acumatica, but we're using a two-factor authentication as a second form. So if we take a look, there's a couple of different options here. You can say required for unknown devices or required. Required means every single time you log in, you're going to get the two-factor authentication request. Required for unknown devices is if you sign in with a different device, a different computer, then Acumatica will then prompt you. Now, if you take a look at users, there is a devices area here where Acumatica keeps track of the different devices that you use to log in to Acumatica. So that's where that's being tracked, and you can delete those and disable them. We'll get back to that in a little bit. But if we go back and we just say required, and we check allow email, we'll start off with just allow email, and we save. A couple of things here. Acumatica wants to confirm we are who we say we are in order to enable this throughout the instance of Acumatica. So this is important. Notice our email address is here. It's going to send out an email with an access code. Now this email address comes from your profile. So if you go into my profile, you'll see it there. You can also edit it through the users tab right here. And additionally, this requires that your email is set up and working. So we needed to go into system email accounts and make sure that we had an active account. But if I take a look, I have an email here. And if I slide it over, you can see the system is prompting us with a code that it wants us to enter in here. So this verifies we are who we say we are before we enable this. Now, additionally, you can generate access codes. So you could generate a list of access codes for everybody in the system and then just keep them around. We don't recommend you do this, but you do have that option. And down here, there's a note just to say that if this user has an integrated application, you can see this here under users, then you'll want to disable two-factor authentication, override the security settings for this user, and do that, because otherwise you'll have a problem. The two can't cooperate together. So we'll click OK here. And now this form, the security preferences, is saved, and we've enabled this. So now if we sign out and we log in again, what you see here is instructions. These are instructions of what we need to do. So by default, Acumatica is always going to want to use the Acumatica mobile app on your device. So what it's saying is install that. That's the first step. Install it on your device. Sign into the Acumatica instance using the access code we just sent you. And then once you sign in, you can approve the push request just by clicking this button here. So if we open up our mobile app and we sign in, Acumatica is requiring me to use my finger, so I'm going to go into the phone itself. You can see Acumatica is asking us for that code. So if we open up our email, here's the email. I'll just type in the code. And now that we're logged in, we can send the request to our device. And if we pull down, we can click here and approve this authentication from our mobile. And now notice Acumatica logged in the background. So that's good. That allows us now every time, we'll just do it again. Every time we log in, our mobile app is already logged in as well. We can go over here, click on our notification, and approve it. And you can see it logs in the background. So that's one way. If we click on sign out and we log in again, you also have the ability to use another authentication method. So we can receive a push notification on the confirmation device. That's the first option we just did. We can receive a code by email. And if we do that, you can see the email comes up. We can copy and paste it and sign in. And that's another way. And then the other thing we can do is we sign out again. We'll use another authentication method. We can enter a code generated in the mobile app. So we click on that option and we bring our mobile app back up. If we go into the profile and click on generate access code, we can use this code 798430 and sign in with it. So that's another option. Now, the last option we didn't enable, but if we go to Security Preferences and we check on Allow SMS, hit the Save button here. We'll sign out again and sign in. Again, Acumatica is always going to default to using the mobile app as a confirmation, but if we click on Use Another Authentication Method, you now see another option, Receive Code in SMS. And if we click on it, you could see the phone number is part of my profile in Acumatica. And if we go back to my mobile device, you can see the code here. It's 391152. And now we can sign in. Now, this last option requires that you have SMS set up. So if we take a look, that's in this screen right here. The demo site already has it set up. If you take a look at our other videos, search our YouTube channel for setting up SMS, you'll find out exactly how to do that. That example in the video shows using Amazon as opposed to Twilio. Twilio is set up here. But you need that set up. And then additionally, as I mentioned, under my profile, that's where you're going to find the phone number that the SMS message will get sent to. Now, the last thing is if we go to users, I mentioned this earlier and I wanted to show it. And we open up our user that we're using. And we go to the devices. You can see as soon as we logged in for the first time, we have a device here. And the device is carrying all the information about us. So it knows that this is the device that we're in. And as we talked about before, required for unknown devices. If we use that, then the next time we log in with this device, Acumatica is not going to prompt us for the multi-factor authentication. Having said that, you can come in here as an admin and you can disable or delete. So if I delete this, I save it and I sign out again. I try and log in. Acumatica is going to give me the initial steps, which is I need to take a code and log into the mobile app for the first time. So I need to install the mobile app. Of course, that's done. I'll sign into the Acumatica instance using an access code that was just sent to my email. So it's going over this step again so that we can start over with this new device because we deleted the other devices. So that's setting up two-factor authentication in Acumatica. You start off with the security preferences. Make sure your email is functional in Acumatica. Emails are flowing back and forth. Make sure if you're going to use SMS, you have SMS set up, either Twilio or Amazon. Check another video for that. And then go through the process one step at a time, and you'll give your users a number of different authentication methods that'll require them to use a second form of authentication when they log into your Acumatica instance. Thanks again for watching and subscribing to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions about this or anything else Acumatica, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Have a good day.